We are live, so thank you for coming. This video on how to make a website. The goal for this is to make an example website for you so you can have a portfolio and you can put all your things. This is an example, has my name, has my resume. You can like download it from here. If you're a recruiter, they can see it here, or they can view it like on Google, wherever you're hosting it, and you can have here like all your projects. Here you can have your links to your different projects, different repos, and stuff like that. So this is the goal. Prerequisites: you need to have a GitHub account. If you don't have a GitHub account, you just go here, you create a new account. You have to have Node.js. This is so that we can build using React. React is a framework, a JavaScript framework, so that you can build applications and pages like this, like the one we're going to make today. You also need a text editor. I use VS Code and I recommend that. You can just download it, and you can have a command prompt. Like if you're using Mac, you can use Terminal. If you're using Windows, you can look up CMD or PowerShell. They all work the same. So yeah, let's get started. Here's a nice little article you can use to deploy React apps to GitHub Pages. You can follow it along. So you just copy this. This creates a basic React app. It has bare bones items that you're going to use. So you just go wherever you want to store this. I just press CD and then went into my desktop. And if you press LS, it shows all the contents of the current directory. So if you just paste it in here, oops, my bad. If you do this instead, MAES tutorial, put that here instead. Okay, correction, you put this and then you put it in here, and then it creates a new React app called MAES tutorial. Wait a few seconds. Awesome, once it's created, it is here somewhere. MAES tutorial. Now, if you have a text editor like VS Code, you can pretty much use that for the rest of the tutorial. We'll split the screen halfway so that we can see how our website grows. But if you have VS Code, you can open a terminal here. We're going to open the project we just made. MAES tutorial. Here she is. In a new terminal, you are already in here, so you will press npm start to open up this new application. You can see it live. Now this starts up the server, and the browser talks to the server continuously, so any edits you make here will be communicated immediately to the website. So we can look at an example now. Go here, go to app.js. It has a bunch of this stuff that you can pretty much get rid of. Yeah, hello world, of course. Bam, right there. Now this is an app.js, and then app.css has a bunch of stuff that you can pretty much just get rid of, and then it turns it back to the basic stuff. Index.css pretty much styles everything beneath it. CSS is a language that styles different things. HTML is a language that puts things on the screen. So here in app.js, this right here with the open and close tags, anything that looks like this is HTML. Class name, you give it a tag, and then with this tag you can style it with CSS. You can get rid of what you're not using, and then in app CSS, you can move all of this to app CSS, and then logo is not defined. Yeah, here it gives you some errors. But yeah, once you have that, you can call this app, and then an app CSS. You can reference that, and then you can do color is red, and then it changes the color of the text. or you can do any other interesting items like that. So once we get rid of that, we will go back to terminal. And once you have one terminal, you can open another one in VS Code pretty easily. We are in the same place, so we are going to get all our dependencies. We're gonna add GitHub Pages using Node, using the package manager. GitHub Pages is a package someone made that is super useful, and we can use it to publish this to our GitHub pages so that other people can access it. Once we did that, we can add this little piece of code to package.json. This package.json stores everything that we have. So the dependencies, we have React scripts, and we have a bunch of like different packages we have here. So here the home page is going to be my username.github.io/ whatever you're going to call your repo. I'm going to call it the same that I called this directory. So I add that there, and I'm also going to add these scripts. So in the beginning we ran npm start, and then it ran this, but we are going to add some more scripts. So npm pre-deploy is going to run this specific build, and then deploy will run this specific command. Once we added that, we're going to add one more package called React Router DOM. This is so that we can use different routes in the URL to go to different pages. So if we go to this URL / bananas, it'll go to a page that we want it to if we want to see bananas or something along those lines. So next you are going to create a Git repo. So here you go to new, call it MAES tutorial. Create the repository is how we are going to connect it. Copy and paste it. So a Git repository is basically somewhere where your code lives. Code is just text. It's basically a simpler Google Docs. Simpler as in low level. You access it through the terminal. You can connect to GitHub. You put your code there, you edit it, you save the changes, and you can always see the changes in the future. Go back. It's basically just version control. You can keep a separate version of everything. So once you have that, you do git init, you do git add, git commit, add a message, a descriptive message so you can see it later. Yeah, first commit is good. And then you add a connection to the Git repository you just made. And then you push to master, which is the main branch in your Git repository. So we pushed it, so it should be here. Yep. So all our code here is here already. If we go to where we edited it, has hello world, and the world is happy. So if we do npm run deploy, it will run this special script that we added. Now, if we go here, it probably isn't loaded already. Settings. Your site is, here it is, yeah. So if we go back, we are now ready to make our changes. This is pretty much all you need. If you go to app, you can add whatever you want here. And then if you deploy it in the same way that we talked about, it will show up here. And this link, you can send it to anyone and say, that's my website. This is the cool stuff I do. Please hire me. So now we can do some development. Here are the steps I'm going to go through. First, I'm going to create these different pages. One for home, one for resume, and one for projects. And then we're going to add a router so that we can go to these different pages. And then I'm going to add a navigation bar and some other nice UI. So if we go to src, we're just going to make some helper folders. One called containers, and then one called styles. and one called components. Containers is just gonna have pages that we can put stuff. It's gonna hold components. Styles is where we're gonna put CSS for the containers so that we can make it look pretty. And anything we do will be reflected here. So first, we are going to make a home page. So in containers, I'm gonna make a new file, call it home.js. Here, then we're gonna import React so that we can use it. And then once we have that, we can make an object called home. We're gonna make it equal to a function. And this function is going to return all the nice things that we want for this page. Return a div. A div is just an empty box. It is something that HTML understands that is a thing. And in this thing, we can put other things. And in those things, we can put more things. And those collective things are hopefully going to be a nice website. So we don't want anything there for now. We can just put a p tag or an h1 tag. H1 tag is just a header. It'll make it look big. So we can put home here, and once we have this object, that's pretty much our whole page. We're gonna export it. So here, we imported React, we used React, and then we used React to make an object, and then we are returning the object. So now we can go back to app. We can import this specific object. Now we have the home object, and then we can just put it on the screen. And here's our home. Home is just a generic page that is an object, and just like objects, you can use more of them or less of them. So here I can put 13 homes or 4 homes. So once we go back, we can delete that, and then we can make more pages. So if we just copy this, make another page, rename that to projects, make another one, call this resume. So now we have these 3 different pages. They just have names on them, and we can import all of them into app.js, and then we can just put each one of them here. Here we put 3 different home pages, but we can just replace them with the other ones. We have a resume page, we have a projects page, and they're all on the screen right here. So we finished our first step, adding pages. So once we have this, we can actually instead skip to this page, add a navigation bar. Adding a navigation bar will allow us to go to these different pages. We can go to home, we can go to resume, and we can go to projects. So next we're going to go into our components and make a new file. We call it navbar.js. Now navbar.js, we are going to make it a component, and this component is going to have different things. So first we're going to import React. We're going to import an object from the package that we added from React Router DOM that we added to our whole project. We're going to add the Nav Link, and the Nav Link is going to let us go to different locations on this page. So we make a new class. Before we made an object, but this one we have to make its own component and its own class. This extends the React component, which is just a class that is useful and we will be using. So when we render this, we want to do some things. We want to simply, right now, return just a list of different places that we can go to. So just like before, we make an empty div. And then let's just put a placeholder, nav bar goes here. And then we are just going to export that so that we can use it elsewhere. If we go back to our app.js, we're going to import navigation bar from here. It gave us an error because I called it something different. Yes. Once we have navigation bar, we can put it here. Nav bar goes here. Lovely. So once we go back to our navbar.js, you can add a list of items. UL is unordered list, and you can place different objects here. We are going to add different links to the different pages. So we'll do a list item, then we'll copy it 3 times so that we can go to different pages. Each list item is going to have a nav link. So this is going to be our nav bar. Now we just have to add a navigation link, and then we want it to go to a specific page or a specific route. Home. Using nav link outside of a router. Now, yeah. So this is giving us a complaint that this nav link is out of a router. We will finish these routes first and then deal with that problem. Once we add all the nav links, we will fill in the links that we want to go to: resume, project. Awesome. So we have this navigation bar, but it's not in a router. What's a router? A router basically takes the current route and then calculates where it wants to go, and then it spits out a specific page. We have to put it inside a router. A router we import from the React router DOM that we used. We will be using all of these things: a route, a redirect, a switch, and a hash router. So first we will wrap all of this in a router. A hash router is a special type of router that works with GitHub Pages. So that is why we are using this one specifically. Once we add that, we have this extra hashtag. If we go to click to home, we are in the home router. If we click resume, we're now in the resume route. My bad. Project route. So once we have these different parts, we can populate only one of these if there is a specific route. So now we make a decision. We switch between these items given the route. So first we make a route. And then if the path is equal to home, give me the component home. Resume, give me resume. Projects, give me projects. Home, resume, projects. Here I am. Works pretty dang well if you ask me. Now, what if we do this? Nothing shows up. You can type that into your website. So if you want to add a default, we just add this route exact path is equal to nothing. Then you render this new item. If there's nothing, you redirect to wherever you want it to go. Redirect to the home route. So by default, it'll go home, and then resume, and projects. Yay! Now we have this pretty empty page. Now home, we want to add some specific things, but first let's have some fun. Let's make this look a lot better than what it already is. So navbar.js, we are going to make it look a lot better. So we're gonna import some CSS. We're gonna make a new file in styles, call it navbar.css, and then it's gonna have some information in it. So given that navbar has these different components, we can style each one of these, giving an order list, giving an li, and then we make it look pretty. Here I'm just gonna paste in the CSS because it's not really any use. I'll just explain it as I go along. So here, if I paste it in, comment it out, nothing happens. When I uncomment it, all of this will be applied. So list style type none, it gets rid of these bullet points. Margin 0, padding 0. This white space, it disappears. Display flex, instead of it being rigid, it puts home here, then resume right after, then projects right after that. And then background, it just makes it this nice pink color that I thought looked pretty good. Now once we add this, it will look at every list item in navbar. So ordinal list contained all of this, so that's why all of these look pink. But now each list item link, it will first display as a block. The text color will be black. The text align will be in the center of wherever that block is. It will add some padding, some white space in between the different objects, and it will not decorate the object, the text at all. This looks pretty good. If we click resume, we go there. Click projects, we go there. Click home, we go there. And then this is already looking pretty good for a website, if you ask me. And we're just gonna add a nice little hover so that if we hover over a specific place, the list item link, the background of the box will turn to this color and the text color will be white. Bam, 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 bam. Projects, resume, home, and then we get these different items. So yeah, how do we know that we're in a specific page? We can let the specific tab highlight whenever we're anywhere of note. So if we go back to navbar.js, we can add an active tab. And that means if it's active, give it this specific style. So active style, if this is where we're at, set it to this style. Active is not defined, so we're going to make an object called active. And if it's active, give it this style. Make the weight of the text bold, and then give it this nice color. So as you can see, you can kind of tell that this resume is this color, this resume is this color. You can change the color. I don't think that changed it that much. Play around with it. Oh, it looks a little ugly, but yeah, you can make it look however you want. That's the great part. So resume, projects, awesome. If we go back to app, home, resume, and projects are all pretty empty. They just have these different things. So we're gonna add some helper tags. So if we're gonna add a center tag, display, flex, align items center, justify content center, flex direction column. This just says make things loose, align them this way. Justify context means align them this way, and then flex direction just puts things in a column. So if we add center tag to anything, it'll hopefully center it. Yes, so it centered that, so we can add that to the different pages, projects, also center that, and then this will center it as well. Resume, projects, home, pretty much do whatever you want there. You can say whatever. And then you can add an image. If you have any images that you want, I can look at my examples. We're gonna go to public and we're gonna add a specific folder for images. In these images, you can access them anywhere in the project. So if we go to images, this will just make your life a lot easier if they're all in one place. I have this example image of me. I added it in mexico.jpg. Don't it look so cute? And then this other example project image that I have called ant.jpg. These two images I'm going to use. I'm going to wrap this in a p tag so that it doesn't cause problems. Awesome. And then I can add an image of myself. You add an image tag. It opens and closes it. The src is the payload. It's the image that you're going to add. So to access it, you just do process.environment.public URL. And now you're basically in this public tab, and then you can add on whatever else location. So in the images, you go into mexico.jpg. Ooh. And then using CSS, a little magic. The class name here is equal to profile. Give it that tag, and now you add a home CSS page. Home.css, and then you do .profile, and then you make it look a lot better. So this, we're gonna make the width of this image, I don't know, 30%. Okay, yeah, it looks a little better, but yeah, you can add whatever you want to this page. So yeah, that's a good, I guess, example page of home. Now resume, you can add your resume on here. To do that, all you need is a resume that you want added. To do that, you first need to have your resume added on here. So I will just add my resume here into the containers tab. So you can see my resume. Now it's hosted here, and you can add a button so that people can download it. So you add an A tag with the link to your PDF. First you import your PDF. You call it whatever you want. PDF from this location, and the location is right here in the same page. So you add a link to this object, and if you click on it, it'll automatically download. And then you can add a class you can add a button, and the button will look like this. If you click download, it'll ask you if you want to download, and you can say yes. This is so that if anyone wants to quickly download your resume, so that they can add it to like resume banks or anything like that, they can easily do it. If you want to make the button look nice, go to app.css. You can add a button here so that if you access the button from anywhere, it'll look the same. This is just an example button that I have that I've been using for a while. So yeah, you can download it here and it looks a little better. Cancel or whatever. And this next step requires you to have your resume somewhere on Google Drive. And if you click share, you're gonna get something that looks like this. Drive.google.com at some location. And if you share it so that other people can view it, then it'll give you this special ID. And if you have that ID, you can create a new link that will allow you to embed it in your website. So if you make a new link with this ID, I'll put the ID right here, and then you add this piece of code. These special characters allow you to embed items into it. So if I have this variable called ID, I can embed ID into this. So whatever your ID is, it'll be embedded into this link, drive.com, file D, and then you can preview it instead of this uglier link up here. So if you want to just have this link, you can put it here. You can have like a view. You can get rid of download, and then you can have it just go to this specific link, and then you can have people just view it on their own if they so wish. If you wanted to another tab, yes, target blank. Yeah, I'll go to a new page, and then yeah. But if you want to view it here, you can add a new iframe, and an iframe is basically a whole page, a whole nother, like this is one page that you're viewing, but you can embed tinier pages that have other pages. So if you want, you can embed this page here in this tiny little screen, and that little screen will have another one, and it can recurse forever and break your computer. So if you don't want that, you can just add a new iframe, call it a resume. I don't think we need that actually. And then this class will help us style this, because this looks a little weird. So if we go and make a resume styles, go here, the .pdf, we're just gonna make it look like this, make it a block, give it some spacing. This puts it in the middle. This makes it about 90% of the view screen, and then the height is just some arbitrary height you want to make it. So this is your website now. You have a home page that you can add some jazz to. You have a resume page with your resume recruiters can look at and be impressed. And now the projects page. The projects page, you can have fun with this. You can, I'm sure you have a bunch of class projects you've done that you're proud of, or maybe you're working on a UROP or something. You can add all of them here. And the simple way to do this is to just go into projects, and then you can just add project 1 or and then project 2 and so forth, but this is a little tedious. We want to make something that we can reuse. Computer scientists never do anything twice, or else they're bad computer scientists. We're going to make a reusable component. I'm going to call this project.js. In this project, we are going to import React again. We're going to do it so that we're going to make a new object called project. we're going to export this object. And then we're going to pass in some things like a name of the project, a link to the object, and a photo. And once we're going to return a new div. In that div, we're just going to have the title, the name of the object. We're going to have a link to that project. There's just a link, see more, we don't have that link. A little space, and then the image, whatever you pass in. This is basically a little styling that we haven't added yet, so we can just anticipate this project style too. So this is what we have. If you pass in a name, link, and photo, it'll put the name, it'll give you a link, and you can click on and go there, and then it'll paste the image that you have. So once we have this project, we can use it. We can import it here in projects. And then we can write an example project. So this is an example project. This project, the name is Ant, the link is this link, and add some project CSS to make this look a lot better. And we can import the same projects CSS in both of them because they're related. In projects.css, if it's an image, I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. We're gonna do the same trick that we did before. We're gonna center this project. Yeah, we centered it, and then on project we can add some extra CSS. Dot project. What do we want this project to look like? I have this example CSS. I think looks pretty good. So this adds some padding. It makes the background white. It makes a border radius, but you can't see that. Let's see if you can see it with this. Yeah, so the project is pink. Instead of that, we can add a box shadow. Shadow. We'll do 0 pixels offset, 0 pixels offset, 12 pixels, 6 pixels, and then the color. Yeah, so that looks pretty cute. Nice little soft background. This is the project name, and this is the link to the project. If we edit the project so that this has a target of blank, it'll allow the user to have all your projects open in different pages. Oh, whoops. Yeah, so it opens in a new page now. So now that we have this reusable projects, here in projects, we can just add more of them. If you did that, you can add a new project right underneath. Call it 6009. Add whatever link to the project you did. Mexico.jpg. Yeah, here you can add your project. You can add this link, and then you can just add as many other projects as you want. You can go crazy with it if you're super cool. You can make the styling look different. CSS and HTML make it amazing no matter what. So now you have this website and you want to publish it. So you just deploy it the same way that we did before. Deploy again. You run npm deploy, git commit, added pages. Normally you would do smaller commits, but this is a tutorial, so hopefully I'm a god and this came out right the first time. Oh, look at that. So yeah, this is your page now. If you tell people you have a website, you can just send them this link. Bam, bam, bam. And you can use GitHub Pages to do multiple websites. You can set up a website just for a single project that you have. You can do a bunch of things. You can send it to recruiters. You can put it in your email. And yeah, it's all yours. Hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial and enjoy. Thank you.